and we'll see how this works. And we're live, I believe. And hey, welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, weekly Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Agile news program. This experiment with some stuff, seeing how it goes, seeing what's new in the world, and doing a little experiment now because I am broadcasting simultaneously on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook among the multiple sessions we have here. So I'm seeing how this works and how well we're doing. I hope it's going well. Let's see if I'm going live on LinkedIn. Yep, we're there. It's a delay, but it's there. So if you want to message me on any of that, you can. I don't know how good my messages will be. I'm also on. Should be in YouTube. Let's see what YouTube has to say. YouTube. And we should be in YouTube too. I don't know. Should be. I'll find out. I thought it recorded really well. So today we are experimenting. Hopefully everything goes well. It sounds like the audio looks good. Everything's running and we're broadcasting. And it looks like some comments can't see for some destinations. We'll see. I'll play with that a little bit. I got my activity over here. Let's see. Read YouTube post. Okay, cool. Facebook groups, Facebook profiles, LinkedIn post. It should be read. So if you do post anything, if anyone wants to try, I might try it myself. Since this is their first time trying to do multiple systems. So I'm going to use my phone and I'm going to comment. Let's see how we do here. And I'm going to comment. Hopefully I don't get spam. Testing comments. Let's see how well it works with LinkedIn. And do I get one? Hey, it worked. That one actually better than the latency delay on the system. So if you comment on LinkedIn, I'm getting them in StreamYard. It's the one I'm using. Not an advertisement. I figured I'd try it. I had it before. So feel free. So that's working fine. Now if I go to YouTube, and I'm looking at YouTube, so it's in there now. Let's see how that's doing. Let's comment in there. Testing. Comment. And we're going to put it in. Let's see how good that does. Testing comment. Yep. So YouTube and LinkedIn are working fine. I'm not going to try. I think Facebook doesn't quite do it as much. So we know we are broadcasting. We're in there. So we're going to go on with the show. So this is the first time we're doing it this way. I'm going to have to jump around a little bit. But just want to say welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show at 8 p.m. on Tuesday nights, where we're going to talk about agile businesses, job reports. I'm going to keep it kind of short today. I may talk about some interview prep stuff if you are going to an agile job that we can talk about. So if those are looking for jobs, because I mean, it's one thing to post up job reports and how the growth is going. The other thing is maybe we'll add some things like tips for job searching and things like that. So last week we did, or 2 weeks ago, because I was off last week, we did prepping for the PSM exam. I got one of my coaches like, are you going to take it this week? I'm like, nah, it's not going to be this week, but I'll take it the next week. So I'm going to take my PSM exam. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, with that said, let's change up the video capture. There's me and my display. Turn the display on. So now you should be able to see both me and the display. And I'm going to share our little spreadsheet. So One of the things I'm going to be doing is sharing with you the latest LinkedIn jobs reports that I go and do a bunch of searches, trying something different. I'm going to do the Greater Philadelphia. Feel free to message me or send some comments on any region of the world or city or state or metropolitan area that you might want to do. Right now, I'm doing USA and EU and Philadelphia since I'm from Philadelphia. This is share everyone the positive part of there are jobs out there. So if you feel like you're stuck or you're looking to get into an agile quote job, this is something you do. And by the way, we do a morning program. Hasn't been at 5 a.m. in the morning, but I think it needs to go back to 5 a.m. in the morning because there just wasn't anybody up at 5 a.m. But it was easy enough for me to do it. It was quiet. So if you want tips and agile mindset and thought process, I do that every day, 15 minutes, it's the same length of a daily Scrum. And it's all free, captured in YouTube. So all this is going to be captured in YouTube. So you'll be able to find this. I also did podcasts. I'll put this up on the podcast too for people who are my podcast listeners, because we got people all over the world. We got people from Egypt, Africa, Europe, Central European, down south in Brazil and Argentina, and Chile, and across states and Canada. So they're all over the place. Australia, New Zealand, stuff like that. So let's look at what we got going on here. So the difference between last time we did it, which was the 12th, and today, a lot of the job postings are down. I kind of mentioned that the summer's here. People are going to go down a little bit, but it's really healthy. One thing I want to mention, even if you're not one of the Scrum Master or Product Owner job, look at all the Agile positions. So these are how Agile. So it's good to know basics of Agile, whether or not you want to be a Scrum Master or not. If you're a developer, it's a good thing to have. One of the things I didn't post last week, but I wanted to put is Project Manager. Even though everyone says, quote unquote, that, waterfall's dead, blah, 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 it's still around. But the PMI has put in their PMP a lot of Agile questions in it. And I've always believed that a project manager should do multiple styles and frameworks to do stuff, because you're going to have teams at various stages, different. Some are doing Kanban, maybe some are doing XP, maybe some are doing Scrum, maybe some are doing Safe, and you have to be able to talk the language and understand what's going on. And as a developer, the more capability you have, the more flexibility you have in your job opportunity. So, and that's also why. So we got Agile business analysts, and I do the business analysts because they're local IIBA group here in Philadelphia that invites me every once in a while to do a presentation. So I do carry along the business analyst part. So as you can see, it went down a little bit, but still there's 76,000 job postings across the United States for business analysts. 11,000 of them say Agile business analyst, right? Scrum Master, 91,000. Now here's the new thing. Start looking at remote. Scrum Master remote, 15,000. That is an awesome number. I mean, those are huge. I mean, can you imagine 15,000 remote jobs? Now, the kicker is they could be anywhere, right? And you have to be very selective, because some are saying remote until the virus is gone, which God knows when that's going to be. I think it's going to be here for a long time. So it depends. It may not be remote permanent. You have to ask those questions. Add product owner Agile, 30,000. Now, this one I found interesting. Now, I did it last time. There wasn't a lot, but now it theoretically went up 23,000, 21,000. I have to double check that numbers, but I know it did go up because it even went up for EU. So, we talked about Agile product owner. People were like, what's product owner? Agile. Well, that went up 4,000 postings in LinkedIn for the European Union. So it's going up. That's the one area that really went up that I was really shocked. Now, one of the things I also want to talk about here is I also started tracking the enterprise coach and Agile coach, because I do coach a lot of Agile coaches and Scrum Masters, and even myself as an enterprise coach. So that's a good thing for me. There's jobs there, right? Philadelphia area. So now Philadelphia, even though it says like Agile Business Analyst, 1,000. Now, one of the things you have to be careful of, a lot of the local ones are repeat postings by multiple contracting companies, and maybe I'll do a session on working with contracting companies because I've done that for the past 5 years or so. So I can talk to that, and we'll do that in a later episode, how to deal with contracting companies. I'll do it based on different things. But in Philadelphia, you can see project manager, again, 14,000 here in Philadelphia. Agile project manager remote is like 2,000 jobs. That's sweet. And then again, Agile, 45,000 here in the greater Philadelphia area. So just kind of looking at the chart over here. Let's see what we got here. So you can see from an Agile perspective over the United States, 440,000. In the EU, 215,000. I mean, just it's ginormous here. Project manager. So even though project manager look at all the Agile jobs, right? An Agile project manager, 20,000. It's like making up 10%. You would say 10. That's 20. It's like half there for the European Union. And then so Europe is big on the Agile project manager. Now again, just sharing with you what's an Agile project. Well, a lot of these older companies don't have the quote Scrum Master or Agile classification in their HR, so they call it an Agile project manager to bridge the gap. And they also want to be flexible on whether you use Kanban, Scrum. They don't want to say Scrum Master because it could be Kanban, it could be SAFe, it could be something, it could be XP. So they're using that as a flexible answer. So, don't kill the messenger. Go with the flow a little bit. Just looking at some weekly tracking. Since I started this tracking in September of last year, you can see we got a lot more Agile jobs. It was like 14,000. Now there's 45,000. Project manager, pretty consistent. And when my graphs fill up better, I'll show that too. Great. See how that worked? I don't cough there, sorry. So as we get more stuff, I'm going to track this week by week so we can see any trend lines. Okay. So that's the status for today, for this day. Still a solid job market for Agile people. All right, let's look at some businesses. I know a lot of quarterly earnings came out last week. Apple came out, so we look at Amazon. So it was pretty steady. Their earnings came out and they dropped. A lot of these companies, even though they have good earnings, they're dropping. Any news in Amazon. Let's see what there is. It could be it could double from here. So they're saying it's good. It's got good overall potential. Look at Microsoft. Now, Microsoft, I know, did a job report just today, and it dropped, but it came back up because I think it was pretty solid, or it looks solid. So we'll see how that's going. The misses estimate, but the stock is up. So it missed the estimate. I think people get too technical on the nuances, and that's one thing about Agile. Try to convince people not to be so technical on exact numbers of stuff, but getting the quality work done. Our buddies at Jira, Altesian, they dropped too today. I don't see any news. Raises stock holdings. So Comerica Bank raises stock holdings, so they're buying. And the billionaire CEO saved a man's life in Las Vegas, so that's cool. So good for him. let's say General Electric. And why am I sharing General Electric? I had to do some research, but someone was reading their quarterly earnings report, and it was good today. As you can see, it went up. They mentioned about doing more agile stuff, so I'm going to try to do some research on some of these reports and stock quotes and see what they mention about agile and being an agile business, and try to share them and post in LinkedIn. Broadcom, the makers of Rally, they bought Rally a while ago. They're pretty steady state, consistent. No real change on that. Outperforms competitors despite losses for the day. So they're doing great. Apple stock. Now let's see. So I know they did their earnings report, and they had a lot of questions. People were worried about Apple. They're looking to high-end consumer. Are they going to hire or freeze people? I don't see anything really. I mean, I can hit more news, but I don't know if I want to. There we go. We'll work on that. They're giving a discount. Apple prepares rare iPhone discount weekend for China buyers. Interesting. And our friends at Google, they're pretty steady state, going down a little bit, but not that bad. So that's what I have from a market perspective today. So I'm going to keep it short. There we go. And I'm going to just end it with a couple things. When you get ready for a job interview in the Agile world, just think about all the, go check out the, sorry about that. Make sure you look at the Agile Scrum Guide. Go to the Scrum Guide, look at the manifesto before you do job interviews, and just take a look at it. Prep it out. Make sure you know what the terminology is. Don't assume that you have it all memorized. You know it personally. It's good to go out and look at it and make sure everything's good, and that you have a fresh memory on what's there. I mean, some people have it memorized to a T, which is great. Me, I don't have anything memorized. It's all about having done it for years. So it's always good to look at what's in there. And the one thing I'd like to offer from an Agile interview, and this might be different, offer up how you might do a retrospective. If they don't ask you and it's going to be an Agile job, no matter whether you're a developer or a coder, a tester, Scrum Master, product owner, what you would want to do in a retrospective, how you envision a retrospective operating, how you envision it being run. So even if they don't ask you, maybe you offer it up. And if they don't do a retrospective, I don't know if you really want to work there. You might want to think about it. They may appreciate it, your thoughts on how it go. If they don't appreciate your ideas on how a retrospective might go, second think about that company and maybe what you're doing. So anyway, so that's our second show. Our next show should be much better. I have a little bit of a cough, got back on vacation, air conditioned unit blowing on me, so it wasn't that great. But everything else prior to that was awesome. Just the last night we had to stay in a hotel on the way home because it was a far drive. But it was a good week. So looking forward to our next show, and I will see you next time. And we're getting